Oh, yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka the 70-time social distancing champion, aka the buttermilk bastard, aka the yoga yachtsman. Bringing you yet another episode of Switch's Sights, which is my gaming podcast where I do talk about just that games and nerd related stuff. Um, Today's date is March 21st, 2020, on the eve of my birthday, the day I was born, the day that made this whole show possible, technically. Um, so yeah, good stuff. I guess somewhat of a disclaimer. I'm on call this week with my job. So hopefully I do not get a call while I'm recording. If not, worst case, I'll just pause and do what I need to do and get back to it. But yeah. Um yeah, somewhat of a pretty slow news week this week. Um but we got some interesting stuff to talk about, discuss. So yeah. I mean, without getting too much into it. Oh yeah, that's one thing I was telling myself to try and do. I think I want to adjust the show a bit where I want to do a brief kind of synopsis preview of what I'll be talking about, which I think might be helpful and insightful to some people. So for that specifically, um yeah, so first we'll cover basically a PS5 reveal event in June, supposedly. Um Twitch establishing safety advisory council. Um oh, Gears 3 possibly intentionally may have potentially going to PS3. We will talk about Xbox Live possibly, well, not really, coming back actually. And also Saints Row potentially being delayed. So, without further ado, let's stop the dilly dallying and get right into it. So yeah, first topic, PS5 reveal event. Um, so according to this very seemingly credible source, at least, Jeff Grubb, who's deep into the game industry in a lot of ways, he said that there will be a PS5 event this June, and a lot of games will be shown. So it definitely makes a lot of sense. It seems like it's the prime time, because any further they delay this or try to prevent it from being shown or revealed, it's just gonna make it worse and worse. So I'm at the point where I'm getting fed up and I want to just see it already, because Jesus, PlayStation is killing us with all this suspense, man. So apparently, he said it's set for June 4th, 2020, supposedly. So obviously this is a rumor, but take it with a grain of salt. But I mean, considering the likelihood of all this lining up in unison and everything, it's probably a more than likely safe bet. So June 4th, get your I don't know, get your popcorn ready, I guess. I don't even know what I'm expecting. I'd say one thing, you better get them get your websites at the ready for pre-orders, especially now in our time. But yeah, so interesting stuff. Nothing else to really be led outside of that, but June 4th, not too far. about 2 weeks ish. Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess it's starting to sink in that yeah, that is actually closer than I thought. I'm saying it to y'all, but I'm like thinking like, man, that is actually pretty damn close now. It's like just the other day, it was like freaking March where all this craziness happened. Hopefully everybody's dealing and coping with COVID situation. Um, you know, as a side. I mean, I don't feel like it's accurate to keep bringing it up every episode, but because it's there, it's apparent. It's like, but just acknowledging in it here and there. So yeah, moving on. So Twitch finally seems like this definitely needed was long overdue. Established a safety advisory council to basically help sort out the very vague rules, very very vague and subjective rules that always end up being like implemented last minute or retroactively or what have you. So to give it a rundown, I'll go off this I'll go over this paragraph verbatim from Twitch. Today, Twitch is announcing the formation of its new Safety Advisory Council, a group made of streamers, academics, and nonprofit leaders that will advise the company on online safety issues. The council will help Twitch draft new policies and update old ones, develop new products for safety and moderation, protect the interests of the marginalized people, and identify new toxic trends emerging from the platform. On the streamer side, the group is comprised of Twitch partners who have been using the site full time for years. They brought on Carnage, Cup of Noodle, Ferociously Steph, Zizarian, who are some of the site's most prominent or more prominent and distinct personalities. The academics are Samir Hinduja and T.L. Taylor, who are experts in the cyberbullying and internet game studies, respectively. Rounding out the team are Alex Holmes, the deputy CEO of the Diana Award, and Emma Leonso, the director of the Center of Democracy and Technology's Free Expression Project. So, pretty interesting stuff. I guess to kind of describe what more, I guess, in more detail of what they kind of do. I guess they're basically in charge of drafting new policies and policy updates. A little bit more what they already said, developing products and features to improve safety and moderation. This is interesting. Promoting healthy streaming and work-life balance habits. That's I didn't think it makes sense now that you think about it, but I didn't think they would kind of actually have a take in that angle specifically. But I mean, safety advisory now, I guess after effect, it does kind of make total sense. So, yeah. So yeah, definitely way needed. So I'm very curious just to see how this will pan out, considering, just the very, I don't want to say fickle, but very what am I thinking of? Very sporadic, random nature of Twitch that, like, any miscellaneous thing can kind of blow up, and anything can happen pretty much, which obviously I guess adds to the appeal of Twitch. Like, some werewolf can come and just maul me right now, and I'd be like, oh, well, I wouldn't be. Oh, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm getting mauled. I mean, I'd beat his ass though. He might get like a bite or two, but I give him these knuckles. He'll respect me. Don't know where that came from, but hey, So yeah, I mean, this is definitely very needed. Yeah, just very curious to see how this is gonna be tested. Will this team that's been selected, how they actually will, step up to the challenge of this you know, adversity whenever it does happen, because we all know it is gonna happen at some point, which is why they have this in place. So yeah, in due time, really, in due time, you're gonna get like some random, random white dude probably hitting a cat, calling it the N word, and then like, what are they gonna do about that? It's gonna be interesting. Gonna be interesting to see. I guess the next incident or big incident on Twitch that's really gonna test them or see how they respond to it. Um, but all in all, definitely a great step in the right direction in terms of um, making Twitch a more level headed, um, not as, I guess, chaotic place to stream, if that makes sense. So, cool stuff. Next in news, some very interesting, weird aspect. So apparently, Gears of War 3, which is um, a exclusive series to the Xbox platform, apparently at some point may have possibly been like, I guess, suspected to potentially be on the PS3, according to a dev kit footage, basically showing the game, um, basically on PS3 hardware, which is weird. So you have to obviously think that at some point they were considering bringing it to PS3, or maybe if it was like a fail safe, if something fell underway. I think they did like nail it and like squash it. That basically it was a it was basically a tool to test the physics for the PS3, like a Unreal Engine demo, but they already had Gears of War 3, so they're like, why not just kind of modify and just use that to kind of get an idea for what's going on. So very interesting either way, knowing how it will like kind of entice a lot of folks, which is, I guess, maybe why they never revealed or this never came to be at the time. But I guess since the moment has passed, just showed that, hey, Gears of War 3 on PS3. So just thought that was very interesting. Nothing necessarily revelatory about it, but yeah. Gears. Let me just check the gameplay. Oh yeah, that's rough. It is rough. Yeah, even Gears can't stand the yeah, with some work it definitely would have, I mean, of course, been doable. But yeah. Cool stuff though. Moving on. So in terms of Xbox Live, the service we all know and love today, wouldn't have been what it was without the OG Xbox premiering the service back in like 2002, 2003 ish, I think. Um, so as you guys may know, like I think around when the Xbox 360 was pretty much hitting its towards its end years. No, I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 years after the Xbox 360 was established. They did announce that they were discontinuing support for the original OG Xbox Live infrastructure, basically. The reasoning was that basically, because I love using that word, it was the architecture wasn't gonna work with what they were trying to build with the Xbox One, uh infrastructure basically. So they basically cut it off, which it kind of sucks because at least me personally, I know not everybody. I'm probably in like the 1% that like if it's still up, I'd find myself occasionally just liking to play the game to see like what changed. Well, take a trip back down the memory lane. You know, take a trip to memory lane and just reflect on like the fun you had playing the OG Xbox online games. But then it's like that's when you kind of think about it as kind of not necessarily counterintuitive, but it's not, you won't really get the same experience because because you're the 1%. Not many people are going to be in that same scenario as you and be trying to play online. So you'd still be kind of SOL. But even just experiencing the UI, just getting that, like, I guess, sense of slight sense of fulfillment that you like managed to connect, like, oh, I'm connected now. And then being able to just experience, get like a whiff at least of nostalgia. I do find pretty pretty fun at times, not all the time, but every now and then, which it doesn't seem to be that sustainable considering the situation. Either way, so a wonderful person, let me gotta give him his credit, by Luke Usher on patreon.com/Luke Usher, actually is developing a service called Insignia, which is basically a replacement server for Xbox, OG Xbox online services. So essentially, basically, we'll be able to kick up Xbox Live again. So pretty much all Xbox Live games you couldn't, well, now can't play, you will be able to play as if it were the original Xbox Live service. The, I guess, one caveat with that is that you have to basically um jailbreak your Xbox One, or hack it, or exploit it. I guess it's so many terms really, but you can actually do it on original hardware. You don't have to like intensively hack your system. I know, at least with the previous Xboxes before, or I think in general, if you want to try to attempt to hack your Xbox, you'd have to get a Xbox game. There's like a specific set of games that you can exploit. Like, I think their save system, I want to say like Splinter Cell was one, and it was some other game, possibly Mecha Soul, I think, where basically if you put the game in the Xbox One and you, I think, manipulate a save, it would in turn let you exploit the, I guess, inner workings of the Xbox software in order to do what you want. Hopefully good, or not hugely illegal. Wink, 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 wink. So but yeah, so I mean, even that is pretty cool, because I mean, worst case, you would just have to go on eBay, probably just get, this is not verbatim, I don't know solely how to do stuff like this. I'm just saying, if one would, they probably would start here by going to eBay, getting a game that may be, or maybe not, possibly known to unlock your Xbox, for lack of a better term, and lo and behold, get access. So, just saying, it's what I heard. What I heard. But so yeah, let's say you do that, then I think it's just a matter of just downloading that specific uh key. I think you have to have a legitimate serial number on your Xbox, so it can't be like a shady Xbox or a stolen Xbox. But then when you think about it, who nowadays steals like a OG Xbox when they're, very unlikely, but hey, it could happen, I guess. But after you do all that, then apparently you can access Xbox Live. Beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I definitely am gonna attempt to try and yeah, see if I can get it working. Maybe do a cool retro stream or something like that. Maybe, who knows? But um, yeah, pretty cool. And of course, you do still have the services like Xlink Kai and I think Xbox Connect. I don't know if that I think that might have changed this to a different service, but that essentially would let you it would basically let you play a game that supports System Link and then fool it into thinking it's playing System Link, but you're actually playing online, and your computer is acting as a tunnel to connect to other people that have the same setup, and essentially lets you play games together, which would be cool too. And I've messed around with it as well. At one point, it was pretty awesome how good it works. I remember playing like a full game of fucking Spike Out Battle Street. Pretty flawless. I didn't really recall any like extensive like lag or anything like that. Of course, your mileage may vary in terms of your living situation wherever you're at, compared to the other person you're connected and playing with. But uh, all in all, it was pretty awesome, pretty damn awesome. You had a lot of people from Mexico playing Halo 2, I recall as well, which was it's pretty cool. I tried to get in those games. Those were on the bit laggier side, which is probably understandable because they're like in a whole different freaking area, like very super far from me. So, you know, but all in all, as a big Xbox fan, especially initially growing up with the OG Xbox, I think this is pretty damn awesome to see this come back. And that's like I think one thing too. I mean, with freaking Resident Evil Outbreak, the freaking fan servers coming up and being able to relive that game in its entirety. Metal Gear Online 2, actually being able to play that with people again is just it is a wonderful time, and very appreciative of the big fans that are much smarter and capable than myself, being able to manipulate, reverse engineer, and actually get these games up and running again if you really if you really are a fan of the series, and obviously have the means hanging around to do so, you can. And I think that is pretty damn awesome. Just that time we're in now, it's like everybody has the freaking liberties to manipulate and just recreate stuff. That is just, it still blows my mind to this day, just how just the free source and just the, I guess, utility of everybody being able to kind of collaborate and bring things back again is it's great, man. It's great. It's make me want to shed a tear, but I'm not though, because I don't want to be considered weak. But at times I can show that. All right, it's a great thing. Just had to bring that up. All right. Okay. Next topic. Saints Row 5 delayed to 2021 or 2022 window. Potentially, I guess. This is by THQ Nordic. I'll quote it. Today, the Embracer Group inadvertently confirmed delays for two of its biggest upcoming games. In the latest financial report, company CEO Lars Wingfors says plans have changed. No major AAA games is coming, or I'm guessing are coming this current year. Looking into the next fiscal year ending March 31st, 2022, we expect continued organic growth driven by further increase in the value of completed games, including the first AAA game releases since Metro Exodus. So pretty much everything's on hold. Um, Volition, which are basically the developers of Saints Row, the Saints Row series in general. Yeah, it's crazy that at least way back they did announce it. Saints Row 5 is in development. Didn't get any trailer or anything like that, but looks like that's a halt. And then Deep Silver, what? Deep Silver, the people that are working on Dead Island 2, that's more than likely gonna be pushed back as well. I think, yeah, this is the actual statement. Volition has announced Saints Row 5 is in development, and Deep Silver is still working on Dead Island 2 with the Homefront developer Dam Buster Studios helming the project. Embracer is currently doubling down on development and expects to see dev costs and expenses double in the next fiscal year. So, hey, there you go. Dreams are crushed. Saints Row 5, definitely, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Well, at least now that we know, whenever that comes out, ideally, hopefully in 2021 and 2022, in that time frame. That's a big gap, but hey. This damn thing is ruining everything, man. Goodness. Everything's canceled. If you thought, you don't. Everything is canceled. But the weird thing is, like, they're saying, like, consoles are still on slate for, being released without any, hiccups or issues or delays. So, still interesting. But, I mean, I know a lot of people have been talking about it. The work from home situation for a lot of devs has put, like, a big pillar in front of people trying to make progress and stuff like that. So, it makes sense. I don't want it to make sense, but it does. So, cool. That covers that. And I think delving a little bit or dipping a bit out of the gaming territory, we're sifting into that nerdy stuff. Let me get my comic books. I don't got them though. Boy, and this has been like this feels like the moment when freaking Steve Urkel kissed Laura in Family Matters. Freaking Dwight finally got the manager position in the office. Freaking damn. Those are the only ones I could bring up. But you get the idea. What seemed impossible, is it possible? With that, the ongoing joke about released Snyder Cut has now been validated. So Zack Snyder actually announced that the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League will be coming to HBO Max 2021. That is crazy. Just hearing how like not possible that seemed, just like people being very quiet about it. Yeah, it's still crazy now. I'm thinking about it, how ongoing that was. What the movie came out 2017 ish, 2016. That was the one. That was like the one superhero movie I did not actually see in theaters. I remember. I'm not sure why, but maybe I think I heard it was really bad, and I'm like, I'm all right. The spectacle. I mean, everything on paper seemed really good, but it just didn't seem like I really would want to, and I did. So, but yeah, I'm at least very interested to see this cut different from the theatrical cut or whatever you call it. It's like, what do you even call? I guess vanilla, maybe vanilla cut, or not even vanilla because it's maybe more subjective. Like which cut is better? I guess just directors. Yeah. So what would we call the original Justice League then? The theatrical cut. At least that's what I'd say. Theatrical cut and then Zack Snyder cut. So I'm definitely interested to watch this when it does come out. See if it's any better, any worse. Um, but man, this is the year of just realities, dreams becoming realities. We're finally getting the Snyder cut of Justice League. Hopefully that may be good or bad. Um, More so on the good, considering the reception of the movie currently anyway. But only time will tell. Yeah, people freaking petition the hell out of it. I forgot about that. People like straight petition to release the Snyder cut. I forgot about the story though. I think it something that he originally directed the movie, but then they didn't like the direction of the movie, so they got another director. But let me see this stuff. So it was very early in the name, blah blah blah. Oh, so Snyder was forced to exit due to a family emergency, and then it was reshot and retooled by replacement director Joss Whedon. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so that's why. See. Okay, interesting. So based off that, this might be real legit then. Wow. So are they gonna do like reshoots of it? Interesting. Yeah, damn, it is 4 hours. 4 hours director's cut. Split into 6 chapters. Okay, wow. So that's something I totally did not know that this might actually be split into 6 chapters. Which totally would make sense, like in a HBO Max or streaming format. Wow, wow, huh, wow. So it feels like it's essentially the movie rebooted, kind of. This is our first movie reboot or re Justice League directors. Well, no, that doesn't that makes more sense. I was taking it from Resident Evil, but like Resident Evil took it from movies. Justice League, Justice League Special Edition. Well, that's used in movies now too. Justice League, um, Alpha Plus, Justice League Alpha Plus Omega Booty Force Pronto. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting on it. Yeah, man, that is wow. I did not know about that. I just knew that was an ongoing thing. I thought it was maybe some differences or um yeah, wow. I'm curious how Joss Whedon feels about this. I guess he just burying his head like, it's all right. It's okay, I guess. It won't be better than mine, but you can have your whack at it. I would assume it definitely would be better than at least what we got. But I guess only time will tell. So interesting stuff. Had to talk about that because I was like, it's like a hell freezing over type deal. But so. And with that, that covers all the news for this week. Not really a big week, but some interesting topics, some interesting things that did come out. So I guess next we'll talk about what I've been playing. Yes, you already know. Been on that Modern Warfare. Yeah, I was working real hard to get my rank for this season. I think I'm at 145. And then also trying to get the challenges out the way. But I did the challenges did make you do some interesting stuff in terms of going to do the different modes. Like I don't normally play search and destroy, and I think the new mode that came out, demolition, I didn't even play those really that much, but this kind of got me to start playing those, and man, I forgot how fun it is, or having that very round based gameplay was pretty cool. So may potentially try that. Outside of that, nothing else necessarily stand out or new. I know the new map dropped. I have yet to play that for multiplayer, but give it a shot. Also, I was trying to play, not trying, I was playing Gears Tactics. And then I'm at this part where you fight this boss basically. And then it was this, I was ranting about it on Twitter a little bit. It was I was getting pretty close to beating it. And then of course, at least with Gears Tactics, if somebody's down, like the traditional games, you have to get them up within your a couple turns, or otherwise they'll die, and then depending on the person, it'll end the game. If it's not a main character, they will die, and you can't bring them back technically. So basically that didn't happen. They were down and I was trying to shoot somebody else, and I always keep forgetting that your characters can friendly fire each other if you don't you know put that into consideration. And that's basically what happened. So the one guy was in a down state. The enemy was like near him or something like that. So I didn't even think about it. I was like, yeah, let me kill this dude. And then yeah, sure enough, I shot him, and then them bullets was hit that down person, and then game over. So I had to basically had the choice, like you can start at your checkpoint or restart the whole chapter. So I'm like, of course, I just wanted to start the checkpoint. I get it. I made a bad mistake, bad call. I paid for it. I understand. So then that happened. Then I freaking what did I do? I when everybody spawned back, or I got reverted to that checkpoint. Weirdest mess happened where the game has holes, like the main series. That basically the mechanic works is if you put like grenades and throw them, they will close up, and then you don't have to worry about enemies continually spawning out of it. Generally, like if there's an hole, enemies will keep spawning like every, I think it's like 3 turns, and then if you manage to hold out 3 turns, it'll close itself. But in this case, I was preemptive, and you have a couple options actually. You can at least what I did is I planted a grenade on the hole, and then once it emerges, it will automatically instantly close the hole, prevent anybody from coming out of it at all. or you could do the thing like the games where you can, once it opens, you can throw a grenade into it and then it'll close it that way. So either way, I did do that before this current turn, but weirdly enough, they spawned the character that died. I mentioned before in that e hole. So basically, very much shit out of luck, and I can't even because he's in literally in the e hole, he can't move anywhere. So if I move him anywhere, he will instantly die because he's in the e hole, which he shouldn't be. He wasn't. He was never in the e hole at all. He wasn't even near it, and then so basically that forced me to restart the chapter, and I came to that realization, and I was like, you know what, I'm good. I'm good for now. So that moment right there had me stop playing Gears. I ran into that a similar issue before. I was actually streaming the game when it happened, where this dude, he got caught on an object where he kept thinking he had to take cover, I guess. So he kept trying to vault over something to think he was gonna go against something, I guess. It was very weird, but essentially it was a bug that, forced me to restart the whole chapter, which is again what happened. And that's a real mood killer for me, at least with this type of game, especially since there's so much time being like spent playing uh these chapters, since like it seems like on average a chapter is like 30 minutes to an hour, if not more, depending on like the chapter. um and I guess maybe chapter is too loose, but um story chapter, kind of the side chapters, you like play two chapters or two battles, and then I guess that's a better way to describe it, battles. um yeah, they all generally are 30 minutes to an hour. And yeah, I was like, this boss takes like forever to get killed. um and I was done. I was like, you know what, I'm good. I'm gonna give it, I'll get back to it at some point, but I'm like, Gears, you're doing the most right now. You're doing the most. So I had to let it go. But after that, I did actually finally go back to the Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds. I keep forgetting those two actually exist. The Outer Worlds. So I actually dropped that for a bit. Not intentionally. I just other games came up and I never got around to playing it again. And at least playing it now, um, I continued it pretty much throughout this past weekend. Actually beat it. And yeah, man, talk about this a little bit on Twitter too. I don't know. Just slightly disappointed. Maybe not disappointed, not even the word. Um yeah, just very mediocre about it. Just the game as a whole. I think just like reflecting on what I didn't like, I think I just wasn't necessarily a fan of the universe world. I don't know. I feel like just the the lore and world building of like Fallout is just more interesting and engaging to me. I understand like these are the people that made the original Fallout and whatnot, but I don't know. I just feel like it could have tried to be more unique than what it was already. So it definitely doesn't it definitely has a lot of similarities to Fallout. Um but it definitely does take a lot of differences, like that is not in the game, but like to be similar to that, there is this, I forgot what they call it, but basically it lets you slow down time, to shoot enemies in critical hits. So essentially it's kind of like that, but more controlled. Um, but I mean, one thing I'll give it better than Fallout is that the gunplay is much better. Um, but that's really where it ends. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I was playing something that I just felt like I was playing like a knockoff Fallout kind of, which is I understand it's like not really accurate considering they are the people that made Fallout, but yeah, I guess I don't think I didn't really like the world that much. I don't know, just the whole space vibe with the Fallout kind of system just didn't sit right with me, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I think just maybe just the world wasn't as iconic or identifiable or, stood out more than like Fallout is. It's like Fallout, you get like a very good vibe, a sense of the world compared to the Outer Worlds, where it's just more, I think, abstract and up for interpretation. Where I think Fallout is more kind of established, in your face, obvious. And maybe that's kind of what I was expecting, wanting, considering knowing that. Um, let's say if this was a game I played having no recollection of Fallout, maybe I probably would have enjoyed it more, maybe, but I don't know. Just the world alone, I don't think I liked as much as I wanted to. I think that's a big part of why I didn't really enjoy the game like I thought. But don't get me wrong. I mean, it's definitely a solid game. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think just me. I think I wanted this to be the Fallout. Basically, let's say if all this game, I guess except with that, because that would be weird if this was Fallout and it didn't have VATS in it. But it's hard to really explain. But yeah, I think that's it. I feel like it just lacked soul, personality, and like, yeah, just something to kind of stick it out more. It just felt like bland. Yeah. It's probably, yeah, I think that's somewhat close to what I feel about it. Considering I just beat the game last night, so maybe it's kind of, I still need to maybe kind of figure out how I feel about it, but that's at least my fresh kind of reactions of it after beating it fully. Yeah, it's like Fallout in a lot of aspects, but in the wrong aspects where you don't want it to be like Fallout. I think that's it. I think that's it. It's Fallout in a lot of ways. I don't want it to be Fallout, considering it's trying to separate itself from being Fallout. Yeah, yeah. I'm figuring it out with you guys. So, but yeah. All in all, my sentiments on the Outer Worlds. Solid game. You may like it more than I do. Maybe if you're a bigger fan of space and Star Wars and stuff, but even then, it's like I like Star Wars, but I still thought it just didn't really. Yeah, I can't even say that to be honest. So I am not doing a good job of selling you on this, but hey, it's how I felt. So outside of games, that's pretty much all I've been playing game wise, I also um finished The Office, and man, that show is pretty damn great. Pretty damn great. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, yeah, man, that was a heart wrencher finale. It got me a little bit. Um, yeah, just thinking about the whole series as a whole, it is pretty solid. I will say it did feel like the show fell off a bit after Steve Carell left in season 7. But it definitely did a good job um sustaining itself after he did leave. But yeah, definitely the best seasons. The prime of the show is when Steve Carell was on, I feel. Just his freaking personality and character that he brought to the show really, I think, rounded out the show in a lot of ways. And yeah, having him go and a lot of these new characters come, I didn't really like too much compared to other ones, but on its own merit, they are still solid episodes. But yeah, definitely seasons 1 through 7 when Steve was on were real good. Um, and yeah, I was doing some weird research and just out of fascination of how the show came to be, of course, which I assume everybody does. I hope I'm not the only one, but um, apparently Steve Carell, he left because NBC didn't want to renew the contract, which is interesting considering he's like considered like the flagship actor of that show. But I guess they said that this was during a transition where they got new management and stuff, and I guess that kind of went on the wayside. But it's unfortunate that because I'm curious what the show would have been like if he actually did stay on, and how the arcs will play out that way. But all in all, man, yeah, that show had me cracking up more than I ever expected to be. Like I was losing it, especially the initial seasons. Very glad I crossed that off the list. I know a lot of people been wanting me to watch it. Finally did, and I'm very, very thankful I did. So cool. So I think with that being said, I think that'll do it for this episode of Switches Sites. If you have any, damn it, but yeah, if you like the show podcast and like to provide any feedback, which is greatly appreciated, definitely like, rate, subscribe on your popular podcasting platforms that you're listening to this show on. That's one thing too. I forgot I need to Google is tripping, man. I need to transition the show on Google's new podcasting platform where it's different from, I think it's Google Podcasts. It's what I've been calling it, but they call it something else. So, which makes sense. So I think it's Google Music, but I've been calling it Google Podcasts. But now they're finally doing that where it actually is Google Podcasts. So it's a damn shit show. But in particular for Google Podcasts, definitely keep on the lookout for me transitioning the show to that platform. Pretty seamless, I assume. But if you happen to listen to the show on that, there you go. Yeah, you can also catch me record this live on Twitch TV/aswitch, where I do stream this and any other games I do feel like streaming as well. Also catch me on youtube.com/aswitch, where I do upload these on YouTube if you are that type to play your podcast in YouTube form as well. Did I cover everything? Oh yeah, you can also catch me on Twitter at aswitch, where I do post kind of a lot of what I'm talking about, as well as you know uh dumb miscellaneous people, and the Karen's acting a fool lately. It was this one Twitter video I was watching where she was basically trying to fake being hit by a car and like putting a straight show on for police. um just dumb. Why, especially in these times? But I digress. Yeah, I think that is it. Any questions you have that you'd like for me to answer on the show, you can, of course, submit an email to aswitchtv@gmail.com. Who knows? Maybe if I get enough, I might start dedicating a segment for that. Yeah, I think that will do it for episode 56 of Switch of Sights. No calls. Boy, I'm risking it. I was risky and it paid off. So that was what I was very fearful for. So hey, the risky stream was successfully risky, I guess, if you want to put it that way, Yeah. So till next time, guys. Don't cough. Get your game on. Aw, yeah.